Gareth Southgate's England has a bizarrely positive, grounded feel about it these days, and much of the belief centres around the 47-year-old manager's refreshingly honest nature of management and speaking to the press. More England's 26-man roster for final World Cup qualifiers. While there were serious questions raised over whether or not Southgate truly wanted the job, at least at the time he was put in charge, it would appear his presence has provided the Three Lions that much-needed healthy dose of reality and grounding. Take, for example, his comments on Thursday, in which he bemoans the lack of fit options available to him, and does everything but name names in saying, "I've had to call in players that don't belong here right now." Quotes from The Guardian: "It's frustrating because the biggest story here is we have about 12 players missing with injury. It's incredible. If you were to say, am I entirely happy with the squad I've named, then no, because we've got too many good players missing with injury. And the consequence of that, you could well argue, is that there are one or two in the squad who haven't necessarily warranted it on their performances. The reality is that I don't want players to be comfortable," he said. "The danger when you don't have competition for places is twofold. What's the level needed to get in the squad, and is everyone fulfilling that at the moment? Well, I'm not so sure they are. There's been a couple of easy decisions because I haven't had to make any phone calls to players who might feel hard done by. They are always difficult phone calls to make, but I'd rather be making them. After that, we come into training and it's my issue and to get in the team, or do I have to push a bit harder because I have a couple snapping at my heels? There's a good challenge for those players in the next week if they want to stay in the squad. Even without the full complement of players I'd have preferred to call into camp for next week's final pair of World Cup qualifiers against Slovenia and Lithuania." Southgate still has the informed likes of Harry Kane, Marcus Rashford, Raheem Sterling and Dele Alli to fall back upon, as England need just 2 more points to secure automatic qualification to next summer's tournament in Russia. The vibe around England feels, at least from afar, to be better at present than it has done in a long, long time, especially at any point being 9 months ahead of a major international tournament. Follow it and read MLS Bern, Switzerland app. Switzerland has recalled forward Briel Embolo after an 11-month injury absence for World Cup qualifying games, including a likely group decider at Portugal. Despite a perfect record of 8 straight wins, Switzerland is not assured yet of advancing to the finals in Russia. It hosts Hungary on October the 7th in Basel, and plays Portugal in Lisbon 3 days later. Portugal has won all 7 since an opening loss in Switzerland, where Cristiano Ronaldo was absent. The 20-year-old Embolo returns from breaking an ankle playing for Schalke last October. Midfielder Fabian Frey is also selected, with cousins Eddie Milson Fernandes and Gelson Fernandes unavailable due to injury. Switzerland and Portugal go into the final group games ranked NOS 7 and 3, respectively, by FIFA. The group winner qualifies and the runner-up will be seeded in the European playoffs in November. Squad goalkeepers Roman Bürki Borussia Dortmund, Marwin Hitz Augsburg, Jan Sommer Borussia Mönchengladbach. Defenders Manuel Akanji Basel, Johan Djourou Antalyaspor, Nico Elvedi Borussia Mönchengladbach, Michael Lang Basel, Stefan Lichtsteiner Juventus, Jacques François Mubandia Toulouse, Ricardo Rodriguez AC Milan, Fabian Scher Deportivo La Coruna. Midfielders Valon Berami Udinese, Blerem Jamili Montreal Impact, Fabian Frey Mainz, Remo Freuler Atalanta, Admir Mehmedi Bayer Leverkusen, Xherdan Shaqiri Stoke, Granit Xhaka Arsenal, Dennis Zakaria Borussia Mönchengladbach, Steven Zuber Hoffenheim. Forwards Eren Diop Galatasaray, Briel Embolo Schalke, Haris Seferovic Benfica. With just 4 games left on the docket, teams around the playoff cut line are desperate for points. And yet, the top of the West remains wide open, with plenty of questions to be answered. Things may look much clearer after this weekend, with lots of games that could provide space, or simply muddy the waters further. Follow all of PST's MLS coverage. The marquee matchup sees Vancouver and Sporting KC meet, each with a chance to take charge of the Western Conference, separated by just a point at the top. Neither has a realistic shot at the Supporters' Shield, but a 1 seed could make a world of difference in the playoff picture. Plenty of teams are simply fighting for a playoff spot, with the New York Red Bulls with a brutal trip to Eastern Conference leaders Toronto. New York is 4 points clear in the final playoff spot, but with Montreal taking on basement dwellers Colorado, they'll want to maintain the distance. On the other end, the Houston Dynamo host Minnesota United while sitting a point back of a playoff position, trailing FC Dallas and Real Salt Lake. Here's a look at this weekend's MLS preview. Sporting KC vs. Vancouver Whitecaps, Saturday, 9 p.m. ET. Either side has the opportunity to take control of the Western Conference as Sporting KC hosts current leaders Vancouver. With just one win in the last three, the Whitecaps have just a single-point lead over the trio of Portland, Seattle, and KC, all knotted up. Most recently, a 30 loss to Seattle has Whitecaps fans on edge. On the other side, the hosts are rolling, unbeaten in 4 across all competitions including victory in the US Open Cup final, and with a pair of league wins in a row. They have outscored opponents 84 in that span, a relatively poor performance for the league's best defense that will have to contain Freddie Montero and company. Toronto FC vs. New York Red Bulls, Saturday, 7 p.m. ET. The Red Bulls are still safe for a week in a playoff position, but with a daunting task in front of them, a loss and other results elsewhere could leave them clinging to just a single-point advantage. They head to Toronto, where the home side has lost just once all season en route to a 7-point advantage in the Eastern Conference. Meanwhile, the visitors will just want a result of some kind, currently 4 points above Montreal in the final playoff spot. New York will feel they have a chance as Sebastian Giovinco will likely sit thanks to quad tightness, and Toronto has lost its last 2 with the Italian on the sidelines, although Jozy Altidore returns from a 3-game absence of his own. He'll look to take advantage of a recently leaky Red Bulls back line. Chicago Fire vs. NYCFC, Saturday, 9 p.m. ETA. Potential playoff preview sees NYCFC hit the road, where they've been vulnerable, to visit Chicago. The Fire have been just as vulnerable at home of late, with just one loss in its last 4 home games to go along with a pair of losses. The Fire could see Bastian Schweinsteiger come back, having missed the last 4 matches with a calf problem, and his return matches that of a number of NYCFC midfield starters. Both these teams are firmly in the playoff picture, and could meet down the road in the postseason. Now, their view is on a bye. Chicago sits in 4th with 51 points, while NYCFC is in a more advantageous spot with 55 points to put them in 2nd. Full MLS schedule. All times ET. Saturday. Orlando City vs. FC Dallas, 4 p.m. Toronto FC vs. New York Red Bulls, 7 p.m. New England Revolution vs. Atlanta United, 7:30 p.m. Columbus Crew vs. DC United, 7:30 p.m. Houston Dynamo vs. Minnesota United, 8:30 p.m. Chicago Fire vs. NYCFC, 8:30 p.m. Colorado Rapids vs. Montreal Impact, 9 p.m. Sporting KC vs. Vancouver Whitecaps, 9 p.m. San Jose Earthquakes vs. Portland Timbers, 10:30 p.m. LA Galaxy vs. Real Salt Lake, 10:30 p.m. Sunday Philadelphia Union vs. Seattle Sounders, 1 p.m. Follow at the _bonfire. Celta Vigo and Girona banged in 6 goals as a captivated Estadio Municipal de Balaídos watched the 2 swing blows until they fell even in a 33 draw on Friday. It began with a bang, and the 2 each took a 1-goal lead and coughed it up in the opening 16 minutes. Payán Sisto scored the first 8 minutes in to put Celta Vigo up with his head at the back post, but that advantage was undone 2 minutes later as Porto evened things up. Former Middlesbrough striker Christian Stuani then put Girona 21 up on a broken free kick. The wild start wasn't over, as Celta Maxi Gomez then made it level again just 16 minutes in with his 6th goal of the La Liga season in just his 7th appearance. It came as Celta broke the visitors' absurdly high press, beating the goalkeeper easily one-on-one. Finally, the game quieted down at 22, with no more scoring by half-time. It took until the 76th minute for the fireworks to start again, as the home side again went up on a strike from Daniel Was coming on a free kick that deflected off the wall, wrong-footing goalkeeper Gorka Arezos. The lead would not hold, however, as with 4 minutes remaining, Juanpe powered home from a tight angle, after an acrobatic cross from Pedro Alcala. That was all she wrote, as each side garnered a relatively useless but exciting point. The draw was more beneficial to Girona, who went to 6 on the season, 2 above the bottom 3. Follow at the _bonfire as Monaco suffered its first draw of the season, falling from a winning position and leaving the door open for PSG to widen its lead at the top of the Ligue 1 table. Falcao gave Monaco a 10 lead over Montpellier at home past the half-hour mark, pausing his run for just a moment to allow Ruben Aguilar to flow towards the ball, giving the Colombian time to receive the feed from Ronnie Lopez and poking home just enough to light up the goal line technology. However, the visitors proved worthy opponents, peppering the goal with 15 shots to Monaco's 8, although only 3 of those on target. On the other end, the hosts did not manage another shot on target. With Montpellier pushing for an equalizer, they pulled it off in stoppage time. Hilton looped a ball over the top of the Monaco back line, and the defenders switched off, allowing Souleymane Camara to sneak free and deposit Kevin Berigord's header into the back of the net to break Monaco's hearts 2 minutes past regulation. The sole point sees Monaco simply draw level with Paris Saint-Germain at the top of the table, with PSG still to host Bordeaux. Even those visitors to Parc des Princes could pull within 1 point with an upset victory. Follow at _bonfire.